everyone. We are doing a redo because I thought we were already going and we weren't, but I am here and excited to introduce Dr. Monica Loud to this particular event. We have her talking about social media power, and she's going to give us some definite power in order to exuberate what we're doing in our classrooms. My name is Tamara Gibson, and I have here Miss Paulette Grace. We're going to drop out and give all the attention over to Dr. Monica Lyles.
Good afternoon, TCCA 2020 attendees. I am so honored to get to be presenting, and one of the reasons I love presenting is to learn from my attendees. So let's get started. So make sure to drop your questions in the chat. Be sure to stop periodically during the presentation to address those questions. So let's get started. So again, I will talk about social media power in terms of advertising your school, or your school slash campus, your classroom, and so all will help with and gain buzz for your events and parental activities. Okay, now I want to kind of give you a special note. As you may know from the previous session, due to streaming limitations of TCCA 2020, no video will be playing during the live sessions. However, all presentation and its recording will be available at my website. It will be dropping the chat soon. You can likewise, you will have the QR code right here if you want to look at my website. Now it's a little bit under construction right about now, but I will have all the resources available by this weekend. So again, like I said, you will put questions on the chat and we will address it periodically. Okay, so who am I? Well, this is my 14 years in education in the Urban School District in Houston, Texas, Ording ISD. I am a former a special education teacher, an instructional technology specialist, and a skill specialist. And currently, I am an information literacy specialist, aka librarian, at elementary school. And one of my many hats at this elementary school is for a key communicator and webmaster. I am a former social media coordinator for TCCA 20. For a couple of years, I decided to move to EdCap Outing as his social media manager. And so, if you are interested in TCCA, we also have EdCap Outing coming in the next couple of weeks. So we're gonna be busy. So again, so my talking point will be regarding the purpose, content, tips, and questions. Now, if you do want to participate in the Nearpod presentation, please be free to do so. The link should be posted into the chat itself, or likewise, you can actually go to nearpod.com and put in the special code right here. Okay, so that special code right there will get you to the interactive section. That's it, because again, like I said, TCCA presentation today will not contain a video, but if you play on Nearpod yourself on your own device, if you are capable of, you will able to see the videos on your screen. Okay, so let's get started again. So we're going to talk about the purpose, as in why we need social media. So what tools are available, the content and what can we add, the tips, what do we need to keep in mind, and who can we add to our team? Because social media is not just a one person; it's actually a committee of people to handle social media. And of course, again, final question on regards to what now. Okay, so again, you decide to be in the interactive experience. Want to log to nearpod.com and join the session. You're going to enter the code right here, that is shown on the top right part of my screen. Actually, top left. Yeah, top left. Sorry. Okay. As you can see, I'm nervous. I can't tell my right from my left. So right now, first, we are going to talk about our purpose. Okay. So if you are in the near part presentation yourself, you will see on the next screen a collaborative board. If you are not on near part itself, it is fine. What you can do, you can put it in the chat itself, so we can have that interactive experience. Okay. So again, what do you think when you think of this big old M sign? For me, I think of course, I see French fries, burgers, fries, McDonald's, good, yes. Cultural diffusion, oh, I love that, Dr. Lewis. Um, okay, food, okay, McDonald's, fast food. You know, I should have ate lunch before I did this presentation because now I'm getting hungry. So this is all so wonderful. And again, one of the reasons I also use Nearpod because I use this to engage my own student. They have Nearpod is very have a very robust platform and is well worth the investment. But always check with your district to see if they already are investing in it. So anyway, I kind of want to feature a little bit of Nearpod. But anyway, so again, I am loving these answers in regards to when do you see this icon? Good. Right. The golden arches. Good. All right. So branding your school. This is one of my favorite books. It's by Pete DeWatt, Collaborative Leadership: Six Influence That Matters the Most. Okay? Branding your school and mean exactly what you think it means. Just like McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Pepsi, and thousands of other companies are spending working to have the public associate certain characteristics and attributes to their products. So do schools need to especially work to ensure that the public associate a particular characteristics to them, whether it be innovation, excellent, hard work, or teamwork. So again, why do we need social media? It's to connect with others with similar goals and interests, to generate interest for upcoming events for stakeholders, and to share success with the community. Now, like always, like all successful companies, we always want to do a need assessment. Okay. So again, do a need assessment on your current state of social media and communication channel. How do you know where you go? If you are a part of a leadership team on campus, you know we have the campus improvement plan. So again, you should do the same data analysis, same breaking down in regards to social media and communication channel. After all, how will somebody know what your school is doing if you don't brag about it? Oh, likewise, if you are a classroom teacher, how do everyone know what you're doing in the classroom? Now, of course, there are rules regarding to sharing on social media, which we will cover in later on in our presentation. Okay. So, what are the three main tools that are available for social media? Well, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of them pertain to a certain audience. So, Facebook, again, based on my own experience, pages are recommended on Facebook. There are options for postings. You can also leave direct comments. Again, you can moderate the Facebook page. I mean, there are going to be sometimes they're going to be made some trolls or some people who want to start the argument, and so you can monitor to make sure that people that visit your social media page had comfortable. We also talk about Twitter. Twitter, again, our district, Auditing ISD, is very huge on Twitter. We have the hashtag, auditing everywhere. And so we want to kind of, again, showcase the wonderful things that we are doing for our campus, for our classroom, for our district. And so what the Twitter is becoming a quickly a hit. And of course, the upcoming Instagram. And, students, of course, the age, the up, middle school up, are more active on Instagram. And so, of course, all of them has their pros and cons, and it's all again depend on your audience. Remember what we talked about. You're doing a need assessment. Who do you want to specifically target it? Okay, so depending on usually target it, that's when the kind of like the platform you want to focus on. So It's all dependent on your individual, whether you be a small rural campus or a big urban district. Okay, so your okay, so essentially this is an example of your Facebook page. Okay, so this is what it looks like on my end of Facebook. I control my campus website, and I want to make sure that we have a consistent message throughout. So you can see it's very clean. I repost what my district is posting. I also expand on what am happening on my campus, and so on and so forth. And I of course I address parents' concern or questions regarding certain events on Facebook. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my Nearpod. We also have Instagram. Okay, and so again, my Instagram page is very new. If I may be transparent, I opened the Instagram page back in March 2020 due to the pandemic and me needing to reach out to more parents about community resources that we have, what we virtually, how do we connect to our students, and those kind of things. And so I opened it, and of course I'm new to the new I semi new to Instagram, but I'm getting the hang of it. So I really enjoy using it. And of course, we also have Twitter. Again, as you can see in all three platforms, there's a consistent look. Okay, and you want to have that consistent look throughout all your social media channels. Okay, so again, you want to have your mission, your statement. And that's what we're going to kind of want to talk about. Your website. So always want to make sure you have an updated website because um, your updated website will help you expand a little bit more because more likely than not, you want your social media to really make it visually pop. But if you want to kind of go into more detail, you have your website. So I'm going to continue on. And again, if you want to, again, please put your questions and answers into the chat and the comments. I really do look forward to any of your comments and feedback. Okay, so anyway. All right. So one of the things that I recommend in terms of showcasing of what you're doing in your campus is small. I use this to advertise what I am doing on my campus for the library and of course all my other hats. And so it keeps everything nice and neat. I talks about the events that I'm doing, a recaps of the events that I'm doing, and things to look out for. And I like it because it's very visual appealing, and there's more and more features added. This is well worth the investment that I have. If you are first trying out s'mores, there is a sale at the beginning. Of course, you can also do the free plan, like three, I think it's three newsletter, and see if it really likes it. That again, like I said, s'more. Once you organize everything together, you link that to your post. Okay. One of my favorite, absolute favorite thing is Canva. Okay, so Canva provide pre-made template and a way to collaborate with your team. Again, what I mentioned again, social media is a team effort. Okay, and so again, pro features are free for educator. You have to be in the classroom. They do ask you for your ID badge, and you know couple of small documentation, which is really easy to get. But it's good, strong investment for creating professionally looking materials. As you can see on the side, there's different sides. So I have one for Instagram to talk about. I updated to our virtual learning that we had for a couple of months this year in 2020. And of course, this month, as you know, is a National Principal Appreciation Month. And so we made a little Twitter flyer to go on Facebook and, a little posting to go on Twitter and Facebook. Okay. Okay. So you think about, wait a minute, I have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. How can I keep it in organizing all of that? Well, what you can do is that you can actually use Hootsuite. Now, in the beginning, let me tell you, I didn't like it at all. But then again, but then my heart is saying, you know what? Let me just try again. Just like in students, they say, "Oh, I don't want to do this again." So, but then I kind of went back to it, and I really do love it. Uh, Hootsuite is a essentially is a it has a pro feature and of course the basic feature. And I use the basic feature. And the basic feature is limited to 30 scheduled posts at a time, but I find it sufficient. Okay, so I just love scheduling things. I love scheduling my emails. I love scheduling my postings and everything. And so it's definitely a time saver because you don't because you just get busy. I mean, like me, I to be honest with you, I can't address some of my emails until after I have after school. And so it'd be nice to have already something published for me for my social media channel already done in the work so I can focus on other things. Okay. Now, if you're primarily a Twitter user, this is actually I use this the most for years. Again, like I mentioned, I used to be part of the behind the scenes look committees of TCCA, and I use TweetDeck to schedule everything. It's a very high power Twitter account management. You are able to follow hashtags and accounts, and if you only use Twitter, this is actually very perfect for you. And so as you can see, there's different columns for you to follow. I actually am following the TCA hashtag TCCA conference. And of course, don't forget to tag me at Eduteca because I can actually see who and then basically engage it much more. So you can either use TweetDeck or Hootsuite. It's either or. So you're always going to get used to it. Okay. So again, like I mentioned, tweets do not forget your website. You always want to expand your tweet slash post into an article. So, for example, my wonderful new counselor at Escamilla, she is a huge Twitter user, just like my previous counselor. And so lately we had the Houston Food Bank that came on, I think, earlier this month. I thought it was last month, but 2020 times just go crazy. Anyway, so she took photos of the community. We had the family and community engagement department of our district, as well as next door coming to help us. And of course, we have our wonderful teachers who volunteer. And so we kind of want to kind of advertise more because we're going to have more of these type of events soon to help our community. Because again, as you may or may not know, Alding ISD as well as my campus are considered Title One. And so we want to make sure that we are addressing the needs of our community by hosting such events. And so what I did is that I collaborate with my counselor, and so I take the information that she gave me and take the information from my Twitter page and actually update that to my website. And so no matter what, we can always refer back to the event, and that's what I usually do. I usually refer back to event when planning for next year, because one of my things I always say, be proactive, not reactive. And so I can always look at my website because there's a lot of tweets going in, but you have a website that's more clear that you can find the events that you are looking for and use that as your inspiration for your next time you do an event. Okay, so we are at stopping point right now. In regards to content, does anyone want to share a questions or comments? Okay. All right, good. Thank you. None of this time. All right. Okay, so we have I got content. So again, you always want to advertise. Make sure again have that same look throughout all of your social media channels. And so we also again have a hashtag to connect. So for example, like as I mentioned, Alding ISD has the Anywhere, and so I adapted to the Escamilla Anywhere. And so we kind of want this is all posted on my social media channel. So no matter what platform you're in, you can always follow our campus. And again, like I mentioned, we have Hootsuite to schedule all those posts at the exact same time as each other. So you don't have to go to different accounts. And to be honest, I actually learned from that mistake trying to manage different separate accounts. Uh, so I have that one platform to manage. Okay. Okay, so again, what can we add? So there's our success stories. Like students, they finally be engaged. I know that some of our teachers and administrations are going out to the community to reward students and to check up on students. So those are considered success stories. We also talk about lessons. Like for example, I also, in addition to managing my own personal Twitter account on Eduteca, and as well as the campus account of my Escamilla Elementary in Auding. We also have I also have my own library technology. I'm sorry, my own library Twitter account. So I always post my lessons. Like for this, for example, is digital citizenship. Yes, you can schedule all of these items through Hootsuite. So let's say, for example, digital citizenship. That was this week. So if I had a lesson that I want to post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the same time as each other, of course there are some limits, but it's not. It doesn't really impede you. You can all schedule that to Hootsuite. Um, and as well as notice on upcoming events. Like I mentioned, we had to use the food bank just a short while back, and now we have the another one in November, early November, and so you can put a notice right there. Another thing is that my specials team, my elective team, is hosting a Hispanic Heritage program, Viva Fifth Grid, and so that's going to be a notice on upcoming events. And also, again, like I said, you can all schedule all of these through Hootsuite. Um, we also want to think about hashtags, something to unify the post. As I mentioned, we have Escamilla Anywhere based on the district hashtag Audine Anywhere. And so, again, yes, again, you can post it ahead of time for all social media accounts. Okay. So again, what can we add? Okay, so we can add uh, actually what can we when we can add, we have to be mindful of the characters that we use. And so we have, of course, again, like I said, hashtag to unify the post, unique phrase. So this was last year, again, taken before the COVID-19 pandemic. So we want to also make sure we tag relevant account. We don't want to do extra tags. Okay, we just because they're going to get notification when user would take action in the post, depending on their settings. And so you want to kind of limit that to maybe one or two, at most uh, three audience in a way. And of course, you always want for photos to check for student permission. Okay, you want to make sure again. Most of the time, you only see their hands, their student work, and again, no personal information should be showing. So, speaking of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as student permission and student photo, I should say, we want to make sure to take this because we want to make sure that the community knows we are taking precautions. And so, one of the things is wearing your mask, of course, proper mask wearing. So, of course, the mask on top of your nose and covering your mouth. Of course, no names are showing, so make sure to check your name tags. I did. I want to let you, again, like I said, I'm being transparent. When I posted, I did not know that I was accidentally showing the student name tag, like the first part of part, like the address was holding, but I saw her name and I immediately had to delete that fast. So you want to be kind of wary before you start posting. Look at the whole picture. Okay, so thankfully I was able to caught it before it took so long. So I was able to caught it immediately. So I kind of want to show you my experience. Of course, if taking pictures of home invitation, I know some of you are part of a community um, team on your campus that goes out to the houses and apartments to check on students. Make sure there's no license plates or street address all showing. Also, don't show video chat messages or links like with your Google Meet or anything like that. And of course, don't cover student face with emoji. So as you can see in this picture right here, it doesn't show the student's name. It shows the student's wearing the mask, and of course, you don't see his transportation tags or anything like that. Okay, and of course, I did check for student permission. So again, as I mentioned, social media, like all things in the school, is that you need a team. So who can be your team? So again, principals, assistant principals, leadership, librarians, classroom teacher, paraprofessionals. Again, you don't necessarily need to give account access. Just make sure they tag you so that you can repost on your social media channel. What I want to mention is that this year I do have a small committee that will help me communicate to our. So again, this my committee will help me expand my reach a little bit more because social media is essentially a full time job. It's do by yourself, so it'd be nice to have some help with from your community, and you get to know people. So all right, so we are on our next section in regards to tips. But before I go on, I want to know if you have any questions or concerns, in and put in the chat, and I will address them. Okay, no questions at this time. Thank you. All right, so audience, don't forget if principals are truly wants to be a collaborative leader, they need to find ways to engage in the school community. So not just, of course, principals, but we also want to think about teachers and future leaders. So too often engagement used to be one-sided. Many families were told what they need to know, and that need to know basic didn't help to build any bridges between home and school. Collaborative leaders need to move away from that old model of fostering authentic dialogue between all stakeholders in the school community, including the use of social media. Again, comes from collaborative leadership, six influence that matters most. So again, what do we need to keep in mind in regards to social media? As I mentioned, we talk about mission and vision, our website, our student permission, and transition. So once a person leaves the organization, so we want to have that. So for example, when my campus transitioned from an intermediate to an elementary, and they reconstructed everybody, it was the way that happened is that the previous person that controls the social media accounts, they made a password sheet and they make sure to share that with the leader, with the principal. And so when of course, when I came on board, and then we it basically essentially share access to each other. And so we kind of want to think about that, again, being proactive, not reactive. And that's when the team aspect comes from. So if one member of the team is a lead, at least everyone else have at least some sort of access. Okay. You also, again, posting, you want to be professional. So you want to think about grammatical errors, readability, accessibility, and language stakeholders. So let me kind of go back to these key points. So grammatical errors. So we want to make sure that to be honest with you, when I text people, I text in full sentences because chat speak it does confuse me and does slow down my reading process because I have to read it quick and fast. And so we want to kind of check for to make sure I invest in Grammarly. Again, this it is a paid service. I know this basic, but to be honest with you, that is also a good investment, not just for your professional life, but also for your personal life, and that can really catch some of your wording and your phrases of posting. We also want to talk about readability. You want to make sure you reach a wider audience. So a lengthy post with a whole bunch of hashtags and emoji may deter your audience from actually engaging with your post. We also want to talk about accessibility. Remember how I mentioned I am was a former special education teacher, and so you there's certain area. I know Twitter especially has that alt text tag, so that user who are visually impaired or unable to see the screen, they can have the screen read to them. And so we have that accessibility built in there in most social media platforms. So you kind of, again, want to make sure you address that. And of course, language of your stakeholders. I work in this and at a campus where we have very high, very high um, uh, students with parents of a bilingual background, so Spanish and English. So I have to make sure that my post that I go out is in Spanish and English. Okay, so we have an official. Most of you will have an official translator on campus, but if you need to translate something in the pitch, there is such thing as Spanish dictionary, Spanish then DIC T. That could be a good one, and also Google Translate could be a good one if you are in the pinch. Okay, so I actually am completed with this presentation. I kind of want, I made this shorter than my other two presentations that I present because I want to make sure that I address all your concerns regarding social media. So it is a bit of an overwhelming platform. But if you can do that, that will really help your audience to gauge because of what I had can notice. And again, you can put yours in the chat, questions in the chat if you don't have Nearpod up, or you can put it in your takeaway here on my this Nearpod section right here. And but anyway, so I noticed that once I really took over, because my first year, it's your first year at campus, first year in my job as a librarian, aka information literacy specialist, and so I was kind of struggling to do all of it, and so as the months get by and the years get by, I kind of got more and more of a good handle of trying to engage as a campus level. Of course, my personal level, my personal account, I've been social media all the time, and managing a event like conferences is also another different hat. So using all of the tips and tricks that I learned for all my experience, these are what I want to share with you. So what are my thoughts? That is a good question. What are my thoughts for Facebook and Twitter Live? Well, I actually like it because it can help engage with the audience. I know we also have Google Meets and Zoom. I know some of you may use I think Microsoft Teams, and so I think that's a good way to do it a live session. So going to that, we have parental events on our campus. Actually not on campus, just on district wide, of course maybe statewide, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. All our family events are virtual. And so next week we're gonna have our first major family event, and so it will be it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out. We did do orientation online, and so I helped behind the scenes, coordinating all that with multiple screens and everything. And I realized some what I need to do to make sure that the next one is smoother. So going back to your question regarding my Facebook and Twitter Live, that is a great platform to use. So so you can try. I haven't personally tried it, but I know that other campuses did try it and they have success because they students are not students. I'm sorry, students and slash parents are engaging with you at real time, and reacting in real time. So yeah. Yes, again, yes, that's perfect. I hope that answered your question in regards to my thoughts on Facebook and Twitter Live. I prefer to use Google Meet and Zoom because of more options. but you can definitely do whatever your heart desire. Remember why I mentioned in the beginning about using your campus improvement plan slash need assessment for social media. See what do the parents prefer. So you want to make sure what the parents prefer, your community members prefer. So I hope that makes sense. Yes, I love the consistency of our platform truly branding on campus. Yes, so I make sure when I do official stuff, it brands like we have a specific colors that we have. All campuses have specific colors and models, logos that we need to use. Same thing as a district. District has those guidelines, so we want to kind of want balance the two. And so that's a really good that's a really good takeaway that you had. Okay, so some of the ways to increase the number of people that like to subscribe to the social media channel? So you kind of want to do maybe possibly giveaways. You can have again encouraging your teachers. What I noticed is that my campus teachers are really encouraging the parents to post. So we have Spirit Week. We have a wonderful cultural committee um, thing, and they did for Hispanic Heritage Month a Spirit Week. And during that Spirit Week, we had teachers posting whatever, posting for example their favorite uh, dress for Hispanic heritage. So yeah, you have parents sharing their thoughts, sharing their pictures. We also have, of course, some parents do not have social media at all, which is fine, but they do want their child to, to showcase their child, so they work with the teachers. Of course, again, with the parents' permission, and so it does take over time. It does take a while because I have to. It's not like an instant grab. You have to really truly engage. Another way is to make sure you're updated. I have seen some Twitter accounts that is stagnant, and you can't have stagnant because you stagnant, you unfollow. That's why I do with my personal and professional. If it's not just because of the content that I unfollowing, but it's a stagnant account. I don't want to follow a the account that no one is engaging with. So I just don't need it. So you have to make sure you're constantly engaging with the parent, having new content, and just again addressing your concern. And also make sure, and this is sometimes it trips me up sometimes, is that you also want to monitor those comments because those comments can really give you real time feedback. Because again, uh, administration team knows, leadership team know, and teachers, at the end of your year that we have those surveys that goes out with the parents, and those surveys that goes out with the parents can really help you see where social media, what we need to do for social media, and also it gives you a summary of a feedback. So with those social media accounts, that's basically you engaging with the campus throughout the year, not just for that survey portion. And so it's important to really kind of monitor for that too. So you don't have to monitor every single day, every single minute. Just set a time, a small set of time to check your notification to see what we need to do next. Yes, perfect. Yes, you do need to do a needs assessment of our communication. I love it. I always want to be aware of who is in your photo, okay? And also, check to make sure there's not inappropriate things that you will see that you see again. Why I told my students during digital citizenship week this week, I told my students think about social media as a billboard. Okay, so I told my students like, okay, think about you going out and you see all those billboards with the advertisement. So social media is basically that you're advertising it. Now it could be a good thing or a bad thing. And so it's always it could be a good thing, a bad thing, depending on how to use it. And I always want to tell my students this because they're at that age when they want to do all social media. Now they want to get with the friends, chat with the friends, uh, um, uh, like they're close, like really close, because if they're 10, they have to have at least 13 and older for a social media account. So anyway, I told them that whatever you post now will affect you in the future because you can use college scholarship, you can use employment, everything. So you always want to be aware of that. Okay, good. Yes, a lot of things, great things to remember concerning a consistent theme for a uniform look. Okay, good. I love how Karen said she's going to try out Hootsuite and TweetDeck, and depending on what is better for her, so that she can see um, so she can see what's better. So yeah, sometimes to be honest with you, I told our communication office of our district, saying that I don't like Hootsuite. I don't like it at all, and I was so adamant against Hootsuite. But then I realized during the pandemic, when we really had to push our communication even much more further, like our superintendent say, a new way forward. And so I had to go back and really look at Hootsuite one more time, and I had to say I can't believe I I did not like it in the first place. So good, thank you so much, Karen. So I know there's I have about less than 10 minutes left. According to one of the questions is that from Catherine, when you set up these accounts for a school or department, how do you safeguard the account so to continue is to create a leave? We have one person in one department doing all social media account. So you can I would for me I was lucky to have my principal has a consistent account, and I was lucky to have a person that did the social media for everything into a spreadsheet. And so she has a email account, an email address, and everything. And so more likely than not, you're not going to have a issue with transitioning. And so what she did before she left, uh, she created an email account with at ordingisd.org. And with that at ordingisd.org, she created like, username. I think it's like Escamilla XYZ. Okay. So that is a supreme holder of anybody. So if need be, and there's something happens, we can always change that password to that username and password. So again, it's kind of depending on the transition and how you plan. And that goes back to having involved your leadership. What will you do? Again, like I said, I was truly lucky to have a spreadsheet with all the username and passwords of the social media account, so I can combine them and make it easier for me to manage. And so that's a question also to talk to your leadership about. I hope that makes sense, Catherine. If not, please put it back in the chat and see if you I can always follow up. Okay. All right. I'm going to go on to the next one. These are fabulous, fabulous comments, takeaways, and questions. All right. So again, if you have any additional questions, let me know with the chat. My wonderful co-hosts are helping me monitor the chat. Also, while you are typing your last questions here and there, these are my social media profile, my professionals one. I have, of course, my Instagram, of course, my Twitter one, the one that I follow, I use the most. And I also have my website. My website has the resources available, not just for this year TCCA, but other presentations that I have done in the past. I'm going to add a little bit more information when you go there. So you should have an updated look uh, by the time like Monday or Tuesday. I just need to change the things on it, and of course you do get a copy of the presentation in there. And so again, I look forward to your more questions and comments. If you want to, you can always tweet me at edutechca, and then we can go from there. If you decide email is best, don't worry. I also have my email address on the screen right here. It's askedutechca at gmail.com. If you're in Alding ISD, my district, I am the only LOAS in the district, Lower Austin district. Okay. Do we have any more questions or concerns?
I don't see any other questions at this time, but I would like to pop in just to make sure that I give that super secret word to the audience and the crowd so that they can get the information that they need in order to have that information to unlock that code. And so our super secret word is encourage. And so, again, thank you so much. It is case sensitive. We want to make sure that you type it in just the way you see it. And we do have a couple of comments that you have done an awesome job, Dr. Laus. We appreciate you being present.
Yay!
Please, please, please connect with her on Facebook. She gave out some awesome, awesome information that many people are not always aware of. First of all, the branding tip is key. Be sure to to continue to be consistent across your platform, as well as if you're the official person as she is, you need to definitely follow whatever branding type that your district has. Our district has a great package for us to go and look at so that we know what and when to use and all of those kinds of things. If you're setting something up for yourself, make sure you be consistent. And just like she said, the key really is that you cannot keep your stuff stagnant. You have to post. You have to make sure you're putting out that information. Well, I don't want to say too much more because I've just enjoyed it. And I'm going to pull in my co host as well. Hi, Ms. Grace. We are so glad to have been able to help you with this afternoon. And we're going to drop back out, but we're so glad that you are present. And just let Dr. Lyles, if she wants to, say anything else that she needs to the crowd. Thanks.
Thank you so much, attendees, for taking your time out of your busy schedule to come out and see this presentation. Again, thank you so much, and I want to give a big, big shout out to both of my co-hosts who are fabulously awesome. And so thank you so much again. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know via the social media platform and of course my email address. I think that would be all. So again, if you are wanting to know about multicultural text and embedding that to lessons. My next session is coming soon. If you also want to talk about digital citizenship, because we did talk about digital citizenship a little bit, my that session will be at 3 o'clock. So, but again, if you're unable to make it, that's okay. The resources are there on my website. So thank you so much, attendees, and I hope to see you soon. Engage with you soon.
Yes, and one last reminder that we have some great vendors, great vendors that have helped us to put this particular thing together. And so we want to remind you to make sure that you visit those vendors online, go back to the schedule and pop into those booths and find out some information concerning them because again they have made this completely possible for us to do this virtually and we are glad to be a part of this. As she stated, we do have another upcoming event along with Dr. Lyles. I'm glad to be a part of this particular one, and she'll be coming back at you in just a little bit. But again, thank you so much for being present, and we appreciate you being here with us at TCCA. Now, don't forget, you tag us in these, just as she's talking about. We want to make sure that we're tagged and we're putting out great information for what we've done today. So please make sure you tag her, tag TCCA, as well as hashtag TCCA 2020. So again, thank you so much. We are so grateful for being here. And so we're just going to wave you out and and we know you're going to enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you again.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.